Welcome to this Silverhawk Medicine Lodge and Revelation Book 2, The Magical Mystery Tour. And today's discourse is titled The Abyss of Wonderment. We're going to explore this abyss, which has a name. We call it infinity and eternity. And there's really no way to comprehend those words unless you journey into them. So I invite you to close your eyes and we'll make a little video movie in our minds and explore this adventure. Let's say I land a small saucer ship near your home, perhaps in your backyard or a park nearby, and you come out to meet me, and I invite you on the journey. It's nighttime, the stars are out, twinkling off in the distance, and we're about to take off into them. And so we do. You board my ship, and we lift off. And soon we're out of the atmosphere of the Earth. And the moon is going by. Stars are coming closer, brighter. Then we see Mars and the other planets flying by, and our star getting smaller and smaller. Then we're out of our solar system, traveling through the stars of the Milky Way at unbelievable speeds, at the speed of thought. And we see the central sun off in the distance of the galaxy. And then we leave. We come to the end of the Milky Way, and we're in the empty abyss between the galaxies. And we see galaxies everywhere, with central suns and billions of stars, infinite life, infinite consciousness and beingness. And our little ship is flying between them. And after a while, we notice that our galaxy is part of a cluster of galaxies. And we see space between other clusters of galaxies. Then the further we go out, we see that there are super clusters of galaxies. Clusters of clusters. As we go further and further out into the universe. And on this goes. We're traveling at the speed of thought, unbelievably fast. And after a while, we finally come to the end of this creation and fly out into this emptiness where there is no light. And our ship is traveling and traveling faster and faster. We're looking for more light. But suppose there is none. Suppose there is only the abyss, the emptiness, and we're the only creation in it. And we look behind where we've come, and our universe is shrinking smaller and smaller till it's a pinprick of light. Well, we travel on, and finally we can see it no more. It is gone. And we're in this endless abyss. And wondering if it will ever turn into anything else. And where would this end? This abyss? In every direction, it is the same. Empty. And somewhere back there is our universe. There is no end. There can't possibly be one. For if there is an end, there is a new beginning, and then you go down that until there is an end to that, and then a new beginning. There is no end. It is incomprehensible to contemplate infinity. How can you get your mind around it? How can you comprehend it? Your mind falls into the abyss of wonderment. But suppose we find, after leaving our universe, there are other universes floating off in the distance. On and on we go through them, fields of them. And where would they end? They would never end. There can never be an end to infinity. And also suppose that all of these universes have always been here. There's never been a time when they were not. There's never been a time when there was nothing. For eternity, it's always been here, morphing and changing and evolving, becoming. We live in a world and a reality that has limits, measurable distances, timelines. Things come in and out of being. There's only a certain distance between all points. It's a mile down to your Starbucks. It's 250,000 miles to the moon. It's 93 million miles to the sun. It's 4.5 light years to the nearest star. The galaxy has so many stars and planets, and no more. It is so many light years across. And then so many light years between the nearest galaxy. But when we come to eternity and infinity, there are no ends. It can never end. This is incomprehensible. We cannot get our mind around it. We can only fall into the abyss of wonderment with it. So, we want to return to where our home is, to where things are familiar again and measurable. So we begin the journey back, and our universe comes into view, and we see the superclusters of galaxies and enter them and fly through them back to our supercluster. And in there is our galactic cluster, where the Milky Way resides, and we find that. And then fly to our galaxy, the Milky Way. We see it in there. And we soar into its stars, and we know we're out there on the rim towards the edge, so we relocate our star, our solar system. And now we're flying back into it, past Pluto and Neptune and Saturn and Jupiter. And there's our Earth, our little blue orb that we left a while back. We fly into the atmosphere over our home, our country, then down to our region, see our city, our town, and fly the ship into its airspace, and we find the neighborhood where you reside. And I say, well, let's beam down and ground ourselves once again in our familiar territory. So we materialize there at the Starbucks cafe, outside at a table, and have cappuccinos in our hands, and feeling it is very good to be back into familiar and measurable life. And now we see that it's really fine to be somewhere and be someone and be something, and it's certainly better than nothing. And treasure what we have and who we are, and that we're on an evolutionary path of becoming and exploring the endless adventures of the universities of the stars, and exploring what we can be, realizing we never have to settle for any condition or any state of affairs or any kind of consciousness. We can expand infinitely and become anything we can imagine and achieve anything we can imagine. At some point in time, this can be. So, it's good to be home. It's good to be in the garden, and how precious it is, truly. What a gift, what a blessing, what beauty, and so comforting after experiencing the infinity and eternity that we cannot comprehend. We have comprehension here. We have a home here. And we understand now that the I Am is us and all things, and is this abyss as well. It gives us humility and perspective. We embrace our smallness and our hugeness in a balance, and treasure all of it. So until tomorrow, in our next adventure, I wish you the finest meditation and contemplation, and may you become richer every day in the classroom of life. So I bid you Amun Ra, Namaste, Carpe Diem, seize the day. Go with God. Aho.